Welcome back, guys, to Project Silverfox. As you guys can see, I've been busy. Put some hood vents in. Got this thing sitting on some 24s. So peeling the wrap off as I go. Gonna be prepping this thing for paint here shortly, as soon as all the bodywork's done. I am now continuing on the suicide rear doors. So you saw in the other video, we started on this side over here with the suicide doors, and I never quite finished it. So in this video I'm going to do some safety pins to keep these doors from opening by accident while you're going down the road. Kind of a big safety deal there. So I'm going to be doing safety pins and some wiring, getting the wiring from the door, operate the windows, the door latches, and the safety mechanism. Today we'll be pulling these doors off, doing some wiring, some testing, and hopefully we will get front door latches here soon. I'm going to replace the factory door latches with some automatic ones, just like the rear, which I'll show you here in a little bit. And then I can finish making all this look nice. Okay, let's see if we can't get you in this side real quick. Alright. So, this side's not quite cleaned up as well as the other side. Do some of the wiring. I'll show you how I mount up the safety pins and the latches that I'll be putting. Alright, so first we're going to start on our wire loom to protect our wires going to and from the door. Now, with suicide doors, they don't quite open the way a normal door does. It presents a little bit of a challenge, keeping your wires managed the way they should be and also travel with the door. So what I got is a set of these wire looms. This is stainless steel PTFE. It's got the plastic liner inside, and this will be mounted to the door or this pillar, and this side will slide in and out of this collar piece, which will be mounted in the opposite side. So that allows your wires to move back and forth through the panel. In my case, it's going to be the pillar, and keep all your wires from pinching or getting damaged when they travel back and forth. So first thing you need to find is a spot where your loom will butt up to each other as the door closes, but also to where it's not going to push at a weird angle and just buckle when you shut the door. Hopefully you can visualize that. For instance, if you had this in here and trying to go to there, it's pretty much straight across, and it's just going to kink this line when you try to shut the door. So what I've chose to do is to come out from the inside of the door, as opposed to back here. I'm going to be coming out of here and through here. And what that's going to do is give me just the right angle to where this will slide in and around as that door closes. It's the only thing I found to work. I could do it pretty much anywhere up or down throughout the door. I just chose down here because of some of the limitations on the back side. I wanted it to run down below the seat belt to keep anything from rubbing and give me plenty of clearance, and then I can run it down the channel to my switches. First thing first, obviously you're going to have to drill some holes, and that will serve for that guy. Now I'm going to do a little bit of tweaking of this area just to get that angle started back. As that tube comes through, it needs to point back towards the back of the truck. So I'm going to massage this area just a little bit. Also, this hole needs to be directly across from this one as the door shuts. So I'm going to go ahead and stick a marker through here to center that hole. Somewhat straight on and starting to curve back. And what I'm using for that is just a ball peen hammer. I don't know if you can see that on camera, but I've pushed this side out, this side in. Trial in there, just test fit everything. You see it's already starting to angle back in there the way I like. And then once I get it pretty close, I can come back in here with some body filler, clean it up, and then really shape it in there how I want. This will slide out with the door like that. So we're going to go ahead and drill this hole in the door shell. So those two line up just like that. And then you just need to make sure when you're closing the door, those two slide in and out as you shut the door. That's why you need to get these angles somewhat less severe. Like I said, these are straight across, they're pointing straight out almost. So it's really prone to trying to kink up. So if you hold this and it starts to kink, you just need to adjust that. And these will flex a little bit and kind of wear into shape, so it will slide freely once you have these mounted in and get all your wires and stuff. And then we'll be ready for some body filler. Get these areas cleaned up, smoothed out, looking real nice. And we'll be able to final mount this loom in here once I paint everything and all that. But this is one of the steps we got to do. Get the doors sanded, primed, ready for hinges as well need to be cleaned up, as well as the latch area. And now once we get that finished up, I'll start on some safety pins and I'll show you those. We got some suicide door safety pins. These happen to be from Carolina Customs, where I got the wire loom and the suicide door hinges as well. These are just a actuated pin. It goes in and out just like a door lock would. How these mount, you can do it several different ways, but they mount down in the door, and when you actuate them, they come out and go down into either the rocker or the A pillar or the B pillar, however you want to do, just to keep the door from opening on accident while you're going down the road. So for these, there are two mounting bolts at the bottom towards the pin side, and these will be mounted in the door like so. This is a manual lever, so if you were to lose power, you can still manually lock and unlock. There's a knob included, as well as grommets for all of your holes in the door. So how I decided to do mine, in order to clear the speaker, all the window channel rails, the window and everything, I'm going to be mounting it down here in the center. The two mounting holes will come up through the bottom of the door, and a bolt through the side panel here to keep it all centered up in there nice. So I'll need to drill two holes for mounting, a hole for the pin, and a hole for the lever. I'm also going to make some holes just for these two mounting holes, which will your actuator, if this was to ever fail, you can just take those two screws out, pull it off the pin, and replace this actuator. I think it'll turn out pretty nice. It'll still come through the factory door panel and still have access to that lever. So we'll get started on this. We're going to be installing this guy. It's sit in here just like that. Now, this is what I've done is position the pin as far forward of the door as I can, just for leverage, and positioned it to where it'll clear a speaker, all the door rails, things of that nature. Some masking tape to mark out each of my holes, as well as the mounting holes and the pin on the bottom, which will be down in here. We're going to mark these holes out and drill those. should just sit down in there. Just like that. There we go. Now, got it sitting flush in there. And let's see. There. So everything lines up the way we want. My 3 holes down on the bottom to accommodate the 2 mounting bolts as well as the pin itself. Yeah, I went ahead and drilled the bottom holes. Now we can set this. See, it pops down, pops back up, and your knob will be on here. The knob just has a set key. You cut this to the length you want, put your knob on there, set your set key, and it will actuate with your lock, as well as it's a 12-volt switch. Now that that's done, I have to mark my pin location onto the rocker panel here. And how I'm going to do that is I'm just going to take a red paint marker, mark the bottom of that pin, close the door, actuate the latch, and that'll give me a mark over here. Simply drill that hole and you will be good to go. Now that that's done, I'll show you the latches I plan on putting in here to replace these ones. These are very nice latches, but I'm going to have shaved handles, so I'm going to do some ABS bear claw automatic latches, similar actuator as the locking assembly, just for your latches. So you can hit your key, it'll unlock and unlatch, door will open, and you'll be good. Pretty slick setup. So I'm going to pull this door all the way off, get it in the shop. I'm going to start cleaning up all these pockets and getting it ready for primer. As you can see, we got the door off, and going to start fixing up some of these holes. I didn't quite center the actual pin, so this hole will need to be filled. Not a big deal because I have a welder. For those of you without a welder, I'd recommend measuring all your holes a little more carefully. I'm going to fill this hole in. I may also move this hole over slightly, or just make it bigger. But definitely going to fill in this hole, do a little body work on there, and then we're going to sand this door down, add any filler to any spots that we need. Also the old seam sealer, I'm gonna scrape that out and reapply new seam sealer all the way around the door. All my latches and stuff that sit in here, your actual door panel will come out to here. So this is the only part that really needs cleaned up. Just a little bit of sanding. Only the difference in the latches. So these are the ones that came out. These were from Carolina Customs. Came with the suicide door kit. And I purchased these from ABS. And these are actuated. This actuator, just like the safety pin actuator. And it just actuates your latches. So you can pop your doors open and still retain the inner door latch as well. So that's pretty cool, pretty trick. And those fit in there nicely. When I get everything going and installed, I will show you all. Filled that hole in real fast, and I filled in the small hole. Open this back up so it's round again. Moved my hole mark over slightly, and I will re-drill that one. Alright, we're back. Got everything cleaned up. Filled in the holes from the speaker mounting. And now we're going to start on this seam sealer. It's starting to fail. As you can see, it just literally just chips off. And what that means is it's failing. You're getting moisture and whatnot behind here. Eventually it's going to start rusting out that that seam in your door, and that's where you start seeing all the rust down here. Also, inside the door, there's draining holes because your door will get some moisture in it from weather, and those need to be able to drain. I see a lot of times these are full of dirt and rocks and debris or whatever's been done in here. It all falls down, gets stuck in these holes. Then it can't drain, and the bottom of your door rusts out. So it's a good idea to clean those out if you can, if you ever take the door panel off. And if you're doing body work, you might as well do all the seam sealer and all that, because it's just going to fail and ruin your paint job. So I'm doing it, get the inside nice and clean from all the grinding and welding I've done. Repaint the inside. I'm going to do some liner inside to help with sound deadening, corrosion resistance. Now I got most of that seam sealer off. And come back in here, scuff everything up, reapply that seam sealer before I prime everything. But those of you who don't already know, all the body work, primed everything, sealed it all up after I did the handles and whatever, and wrapped the entire truck. It looked really nice for a couple years. It wasn't the best wrap job, first wrap I've ever done, but it was a fun experience. And now it's coming time to start taking it off. Wraps are only meant to last a few years, 2-3 years. Some high quality wraps for maybe 5 years. But this one's been on for about 3 years. It's a pretty high quality wrap. The wrap job itself was pretty poor, just because it was my first one. Wanted to try it out, see if I could do it. But the reason you need to replace your wrap every few years is it'll start to get brittle. It's just a big sticker, so it's not a bad way to go if you're just doing it for a year or you want to change it for shows or whatever. But long time use, probably not the best thing to do. But in my case, it was just used to make it look nice and to protect the paint for those couple years that it would be sitting, instead of just having bare primer spots and whatever. So I'm going to go ahead and start pulling all this wrap off, get the wrap off the door, and we can start sanding and prepping. Got the seam sealer in there and sanded down. I don't know if you can really see it on camera. You see where I had it primed, and then the seam sealer is black. Goes right up to the seam of the door, under the seam, and just filled back in there nice and smooth. Now I'm going to come back with some filler, do a nice skim coat, and clean up all these imperfections in the seams, and it's going to look like one solid piece. A little bit more work, but I think it's going to look pretty cool. Just little detail stuff like that. And I might as well, I'm here. Hey, so I've got it all sanded down, looking good. Just need to come back and prime the whole door. Got everything taped up, and we are going to coat the inside of this door with some frame coating. It's kind of like bed liner, encapsulate rust, all that stuff. But we're gonna put some of this on the inside of the door to keep anything that was welded up inside of there from rusting, all the holes, everything. If you're wondering how I'm gonna get in all the crevices and everywhere inside of there, got this little hose, 360-degree swivel at the end, and that should give me a nice coat on the whole inside of the door. Alright, you can see after I coated the inside of that, my latch plate is, all the welds are nicely coated now from the inside to prevent any rust. Nice clean coat all the way around. I know it's hard to see back in there, but it's really what I want to do is protect those welds from the inside, and I've accomplished that. So it should last for a very long time. Okay guys, we're getting there. Got the door jambs all primed. The door itself, see how nice and smooth that looks. Yeah, looks good. Alright guys, got the jambs pretty well sanded down, cleaned up. looking good. Still need to do the front doors, but that'll be a little later on. I'll show you that when I do the windows up front. Go ahead and throw this door back on, and when I get everything done on this side, I will come back, prime all the jambs, final sand everything, get it ready for paint. For now, that's all I'm going to do on this back door. Go ahead and finish the other side, and yeah, we'll show you the final product in some later videos. Hope you guys like it. Stay tuned, like, subscribe, and we'll catch you later.